Pokemon has been in a very rough place over the past few years, and just a few weeks ago, we found out that in Pokemon Go, they were going to be turning the female character avatars androgynous, and now that that update is finally rolling out in places like the United States, people are talking about it, and they are furious. I have a few things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or through YouTube memberships. Now, we actually initially heard about this 3 weeks ago. I did a video on it. It will be linked down below, but here is the article from then. It says Pokemon Go fans are livid as Avatar update nerfed women, and this is the crux of the issue. It used to be that your characters / your avatars would have slight curves. We're not talking about characters being bombshells here, but you could tell that they had thinner waists, they had pretty nicely shaped legs. I mean, overall, they looked aesthetically pleasing, but then they decided to completely rid of that. The legs just look like planks. The midsections of female characters have absolutely no definition, and they basically decided that they were going to go for this brand new female character model that was pretty androgynous, and unfortunately, much of the gaming industry has been pushing the androgynous look over the past few years. It's very prominent in the West, so people were pushed towards Japanese and Korean entertainment, but we have seen quite a few Japanese companies now embrace corporate DEI trends, and the Pokemon Company plus Niantic are definitely two of them. These companies need to start realizing by going in this direction, there's not an abundance of money headed their way, and all they're really doing is pushing consumers away because people are livid over these changes now. I mean, Pokemon Go launched in 2016, and only now are they making the changes, and of course, when you have already invested a lot of time and a lot of money into a game, you expect them to keep the product as close to the original launch as possible. Like, yes, they would be adding content and they would be, fixing bugs and glitches and updating things, but aesthetically, you wouldn't expect them to do some massive overhaul, and that is what they are doing with the female character models. And of course, whenever a situation like this happens, there will be people who say, oh, it's not that big of a deal, but I completely disagree. Why would they make these changes in the first place? Companies only change things when they think they're a big deal, therefore, I'm allowed to think that this is a big deal. Especially when they're taking a character that has feminine features and made the models look ridiculous and the new modern term, gender neutral. I am sick and tired of this fad ruining our entertainment, and I am not alone. Of course, they had posted this saying, trainers, your avatars can now look even more like you. We're excited to announce that the new avatar customization options are live in Pokemon Go, but unfortunately, that is not the case, because if you are a woman and you have any sort of definition to your body, your avatar is not going to look like you. Savvy had said, who suggested this change and why to the anatomy? Why were the small indents on the women's hips adjusted at all? Why not add more variation options in clothing and hairstyles instead? Of course, because they're not worried about that. They're worried about following corporate DEI trends. Choices are good, but you made everyone the same, ugly and erased women. I totally and completely agree. I mean, all of the female character options now make you look like a plank. It's so disappointing. I mean, look at this person saying, please tell me how you think the new avatar looks better in any way. And this is, the curviest the new avatars can go. I mean, that is a drastic difference. Even look at the section below her hips. I mean, they brought that down so much. And it's not just the pants. It's just the way that the character model looks now. It looks so ridiculous. I personally, as a woman, am sick and tired of seeing female character models altered and made to look like they are not women anymore. It's fine to add options where your character can look like a plank or look like a freaking whale if that's what you want your character to look like, but at the same time, I should be able to make my character look thin and lean and also curvaceous. That should not be some massively negative thing. And there is even a section on Twitter now under the Explore page saying unrealistic avatars and backlash the Pokemon Go update controversy. And there are hundreds to thousands of posts of people showing off the new avatars and how disappointed they are in it. Literally, every Pokemon Go post over the last 24 hours has felt like a funeral. This is unreal, man. This is what happens when you go and you update a game, again, from 2016, where people already have invested thousands of hours and potentially even thousands of dollars into your game, and then you go and you make their characters look like freaking ugly plagues. This is absolutely ridiculous. And when I had initially covered this a few weeks ago, we didn't know just how bad it was going to be. We knew that they were doing this update and we had seen some screenshots, but as it was just then being rolled out worldwide, in only specific regions very slowly, we didn't know the extent, but now we know, and it is bad. Now, of course, we do not know exactly how narrative consultation companies' work is implemented in games, but we do know that Niantic did work with GaymersX. They are a narrative consultation company that over the past few weeks has been talked about a lot. They offer developers to help them create more LGBTQIA+ inclusive games, workplaces, and events. They offer presentation integrating queer themes in games, workshop gender identity in the workplace, workshop community management strategies for supporting LGBT players, panel discussions over intersectional community building in games, sensitivity reading, marketing, social media, and promotional materials review, plus custom solutions. So again, we do not know exactly what they did with this game, but we do know that we can point the finger towards them at this point because they have partnered with the company behind Pokemon Go, and they have, it seems, worked on this game in some way, shape, or form. So it's unfortunate that this has happened. This is what we are left with. A game that is years old at this point, that is altered. An 8-year-old game that you might have invested a lot of time and money into is now completely changed. And instead of just leaving the way that the game was alone and adding options, they decided to take away options and force you to look like a plank in this game. It will be interesting to see over the next few days and few weeks if, anybody from Pokemon Go or the Pokemon Company or Niantic actually respond to this controversy, if they say anything, or if they even walk it back. I personally don't think they'll walk it back because that's just how companies are at this point. They've already made the change. They expect players to basically shut up and deal with it, which is a very unfortunate thing. And I would expect over the next couple of days people to threaten to boycott this game unless they change it, and they're getting completely ratioed. 4.6k comments, 1.3k reposts, and only 3.6k likes. So I will be keeping my eye on this situation. But if you are a Pokemon Go player, this is very unfortunate news for you. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.